Did you know Australia is home to landscapes and cities unlike anywhere else on Earth? Let's discover its secrets together. Australia. The very name conjures images of vast, sun-scorched deserts and endless, shimmering coastlines. It is a continent that seems almost too big, too empty, too full of things that can bite, sting, or otherwise inconvenience you. This is the land of kangaroos bounding through golden grasslands and crocodiles lurking in murky billabongs. It is a place where the ancient stories of the first peoples are etched into the very rock formations that have stood for millennia. This is the Australia of postcards and documentaries, a wild and untamed frontier that both intimidates and irresistibly calls to the adventurer in all of us. When people think of Australian culture, their minds often drift to a very specific set of images. There's the bronzed lifesaver, the laconic outback farmer, and the ever-present barbecue sizzling in a suburban backyard. These are not entirely wrong, of course. They are threads in the rich fabric of the national identity. But to focus solely on them is to miss the vibrant, complex, and deeply cosmopolitan reality of contemporary Australia. The true cultural heartbeat of the nation is found within its cities. These are not just collections of buildings and roads. They are living, breathing ecosystems of art, music, sport, and culinary innovation. Our journey begins, as it must, in Sydney. This is Australia's showpiece, the city that first springs to mind for so many around the world. It is the nation's oldest and most populous city, a sprawling, energetic metropolis that is home to over 5 million people. But before we dive into its bustling streets and vibrant culture, we must first pay our respects to its greatest natural asset, the very reason for its existence. We are talking, of course, about its harbour. To call it a harbour feels like a dramatic understatement. It is a magnificent, sprawling waterway of immense beauty and scale. It is not just a feature of the city. It is the city's heart, its soul, and its spectacular, ever-present backdrop. Known officially as Port Jackson, this is the largest natural harbour in the world, a drowned river valley with over 240 kilometers of shoreline. Leaving the sunny disposition and harbour views of Sydney behind, our journey takes us 700 kilometers south to a city with a distinctly different rhythm. Welcome to Melbourne, the capital of Victoria. If Sydney is the glamorous, sun-kissed blonde of the family, Melbourne is the cool, artistic sibling dressed in black, with a mysterious smile and an encyclopedic knowledge of coffee, art, and music. With a population of 5.2 million, it is Sydney's lifelong rival, a city that prides itself not on its natural harbour, but on its cultivated soul. It is a place where culture is not just something you visit in a museum, it is etched into the very fabric of the city, found in its graffiti-adorned laneways, its booming live music venues, and its passionate sporting arenas. As our journey continues northward up the east coast, the air becomes warmer, the sunlight more intense, and the pace of life seems to slow just a little. We have arrived in Brisbane, the capital of Queensland, the Sunshine State. With a population of 2.6 million, Brisbane is Australia's third largest city, a sprawling subtropical metropolis that has gracefully emerged from the shadows of its southern rivals, Sydney and Melbourne. For a long time, it was perceived by other Australians as a big, sleepy country town, but Brisbane has confidently shed that reputation. Today, it is a vibrant, ambitious, and forward-thinking city, radiating a relaxed warmth and an easygoing charm that is entirely its own and utterly captivating. The city's defining feature is the majestic Brisbane River, which snakes its way through the heart of the city in a series of broad, lazy curves. Our journey now requires a monumental leap. We leave the familiar eastern seaboard behind and traverse the vast arid heart of the continent. After a flight of some 4 to 5 hours, crossing thousands of kilometers of red desert and scrubland, we arrive in a different world. Welcome to Perth, the capital of Western Australia. With a population of 2.2 million, it's a city defined by its profound isolation. It's actually closer to Jakarta than to Sydney, a glittering outpost of urbanity on the edge of the vast Indian Ocean. This isolation hasn't made Perth provincial. Instead, it's forged a city with a fiercely independent spirit, a unique character, and a lifestyle built around endless sunshine and breathtaking natural beauty. Perth proudly holds the title of Australia's sunniest capital city, leaving the sun-drenched isolation of the West behind. Our journey takes us eastward again, across the vast, treeless expanse of the Nullarbor Plain to the capital of South Australia. Here, nestled between the rolling Adelaide Hills and the calm waters of the Gulf St. Vincent, we find Adelaide. With a population of 1.4 million, it is a city that exudes a quiet and graceful confidence. Adelaide doesn't shout for your attention. It earns it with its elegant architecture, its civilized pace of life, and its profound connection to food, wine, and the arts. It's often called the City of Churches, a nod to its history of religious freedom. But today, it's just as much a city of festivals, foodies, and freethinkers. Unlike many Australian cities that grew organically and often chaotically, Adelaide was a planned settlement. It was founded in 1836 as a freely settled British province, with a vision to create a model society free from the convict stain that marked the eastern colonies. Our journey now requires a short flight across the often turbulent waters of the Bass Strait, a stretch of ocean that separates the Australian mainland from its intriguing island state. We are heading to Tasmania and to its capital, Hobart. With a modest population of around 250,000 people, Hobart is by far the smallest of the capital cities on our tour, but it really punches well above its weight in character, creativity, and natural drama. Nestled on the estuary of the River Derwent and shadowed by the imposing presence of Kunanyi or Mount Wellington, this is a city where the air feels cleaner, the history feels closer, and the pace of life is dictated by the seasons and the sea. It is Australia's second oldest capital, a place of immense beauty and burgeoning cool. The first thing that strikes you about Hobart is its magnificent setting. Welcome to Canberra, the capital of the Australian Capital Territory and the nation of Australia itself. With a population of just over 460,000, Canberra is a city born not from a gold rush or a convict settlement, but from a political compromise. At the beginning of the 20th century, the fierce rivalry between Sydney and Melbourne was so intense that neither city would agree to the other becoming the capital. The solution was to build a brand new one, somewhere in between. The site chosen was a rolling expanse of sheep grazing land, a place of frosty winters and hot, dry summers. In 1911, the Australian government launched an international competition to design its new capital, a bold move to create a city that would reflect the aspirations of the young nation. For our final stop, we take a giant leap to the very top of the continent, to a city that feels closer to Asia than to the rest of Australia. Welcome to Darwin, the capital of the Northern Territory. With a population of around 150,000, it is a small city, but its personality is immense. This is Australia's tropical frontier, a place where the red dirt of the outback meets the turquoise waters of the Arafura Sea. The air here is thick with humidity, the scent of salt, and the sweet perfume of frangipani. Darwin is not just another city on the map, it is an entirely different state of mind. It is rugged, resilient, multicultural, and operates on its own relaxed, sweat-drenched rhythm, a pace locals affectionately call Darwin time. This is a city that lives and breathes its tropical location. Forget the four seasons of the South. Darwin has just two. There is the dry, from May to October, with its endless blue skies, balmy days, and cool nights. And then there is the wet, from November to April, a season of dramatic thunderstorms, heavy monsoonal downpours, and spectacular lightning shows that illuminate the sky. Darwin sits on a low peninsula, flanked by a wide, muddy harbour on one side and the open sea on the other. Our grand tour across the urban landscapes of Australia has come to an end. We have journeyed from the iconic harbour of Sydney to the tropical frontier of Darwin, covering thousands of kilometres and a vast spectrum of cultures and climates. We began in Sydney, a city of dazzling beauty, where the Opera House and Harbour Bridge stand as proud symbols of a nation looking out to the world. From there, we delved into the effortlessly cool labyrinth of Melbourne, a city that revealed its treasures not in grand vistas, but in hidden laneways. Our northward journey led us to the warm embrace of Brisbane, the sunny river city. Each city presented a different face of Australia, a different story, a different way of life, proving that this continent is far too complex and varied to be defined by a single image or stereotype. To understand Australia, you must understand its cities, for it is here that the country's dreams, its challenges, and its remarkable character are most vividly expressed. Now, as our journey concludes, the question turns to you. Your Australian adventure awaits. Before you set off on your own Aussie adventure, why not help others discover the wonders of Australia too? If you enjoyed exploring with us, don't forget to hit that like button. Share this video with your fellow travelers and subscribe to our channel for more journeys just like this one.